It began with a crash in the middle of nowhere. A violent storm tore across the desert of New Mexico in early July 1947. Thunder rolled over the empty plains, lightning split the sky, and something not meant to be there, fell out of the darkness. No one saw it come down, but someone found what it left behind. About 75 miles northwest of Roswell, on a quiet ranch owned by a man named Mac Brazel, the land looked wrong. Scattered across a wide stretch of desert were strange, unrecognizable fragments. Thin, metallic pieces that didn't rust. Lightweight material that snapped back into shape when bent. Debris unlike anything Brazel had ever seen. At first, he thought it might be the wreckage of a weather balloon, but the more he looked, the less it made sense. And that's when everything changed. Because within days, the United States Air Forces would arrive, and what started as a strange discovery would become one of the most enduring mysteries in American history: the Roswell Incident. And the question that still haunts it: what really crashed in that desert? In 1947, America was on edge. World War II had ended just 2 years earlier, but a new tension was rising: the Cold War. The United States and the Soviet Union were locked in a silent battle of intelligence, technology, and power. Nuclear weapons had changed everything. Surveillance was constant. Secrets were everywhere. And then, reports of flying discs began flooding in. Just weeks before the Roswell crash, a private pilot named Kenneth Arnold claimed he saw 9 high-speed objects skipping across the sky near Mount Rainier. His description sparked a national obsession. Newspapers picked it up. Radio stations amplified it. Suddenly, Americans were looking up, wondering if they were alone. So when something crashed near Roswell, it didn't just land on a ranch, it landed in a country already primed for mystery. Mac Brazel reported his discovery to the local sheriff, who quickly contacted the Roswell Army Airfield, the home of the 509th Bomb Group. This wasn't just any military unit, it was the only atomic bomb squadron in the world. Within hours, military personnel were dispatched to the site. They collected the debris, and then they made a statement. On July 8, 1947, the Roswell Army Airfield issued a press release that would ignite decades of speculation. It read, in part, that the military had recovered a flying disc. A flying disc. The word spread like wildfire. Across newspapers, across radio broadcasts, across the entire country. For a brief moment, it seemed like the United States military had just confirmed the existence of something not of this world. But then, almost as quickly as the story broke, it was taken back. Within 24 hours, the military changed its explanation. The flying disc was now described as nothing more than a weather balloon. Harmless, misidentified, case closed. Photographs were released showing officers posing with torn rubber and sticks, ordinary materials meant to support the official story. To many, that should have been the end of it, but it wasn't. Because something about it didn't feel right. Why the sudden change? Why the initial claim of a flying disc? And why did witnesses begin to tell a very different story? Years passed, decades even. The Roswell incident faded into the background of history until the late 1970s, when new voices began to emerge. People who had been there. People who claimed the truth had been buried. One of them was Major Jesse Marcel, the intelligence officer who had personally collected debris from the crash site. In interviews, Marcel described materials that were unlike anything he had ever encountered. Not balloon fragments, not conventional metal. He spoke of foil-like substances that couldn't be dented, beams with strange symbols, materials that seemed engineered in ways beyond human capability at the time. According to Marcel, what was shown to the public in those famous photographs was not what he actually recovered. It was a cover story. And he wasn't the only one. Other witnesses came forward with even more unsettling claims, stories of a second crash site, stories of bodies, small humanoid figures, not human, not animal, something else entirely. Some claimed the military quickly sealed off the area, that they transported the wreckage and whatever was found with it to secret facilities. Others described threats, warnings to stay silent, fear that followed them for years. But were these accounts reliable? Or were they shaped by time, by memory, by the growing mythology surrounding Roswell? As public interest surged again, the U.S. government was forced to respond. In the 1990s, the Air Force released official reports attempting to explain the incident once and for all. According to these reports, the debris recovered near Roswell was not a weather balloon, but part of a top-secret project known as Project Mogul. Project Mogul was designed to detect Soviet nuclear tests using high-altitude balloons equipped with sensitive instruments. The equipment was classified, its purpose was hidden, and if it crashed, the military would have every reason to keep it secret. This explanation, on the surface, seemed plausible. It accounted for the unusual materials, it explained the secrecy, it aligned with the Cold War context. But it didn't answer everything, because even within the government's own reports, there were inconsistencies, descriptions that didn't fully match witness accounts, timelines that didn't quite line up. And then there were the claims about bodies. The Air Force addressed those too, suggesting that reports of alien bodies were likely the result of later military tests involving crash dummies dropped from high altitudes in the 1950s. But critics pointed out a major flaw. The Roswell Incident happened in 1947. Those tests came years later. So how could witnesses be remembering events that hadn't happened yet? Was it confusion or something else? Over time, Roswell transformed from a local incident into a global phenomenon. Books were written, documentaries were produced, movies were inspired by it. The image of the Roswell alien became embedded in popular culture. Large black eyes, small fragile bodies, a symbol of the unknown. But beneath the stories, beneath the speculation, one thing remained unchanged: the mystery. Because no matter how many explanations were offered, no matter how many reports were released, there was always something just out of reach, something unanswered. Was it simply a classified military project, misunderstood and exaggerated over time? Or did something truly extraordinary happen in that desert? Something the world was never meant to fully understand? Even today, Roswell continues to draw attention. Tourists visit the site. Researchers analyze the evidence. Skeptics and believers debate the details. And the truth still feels distant. Because the Roswell incident isn't just about a crash, it's about trust, about what governments choose to reveal and what they choose to hide. It's about how a single moment, one stormy night in 1947, can echo across generations. And maybe, just maybe, it's about something more, something that challenges our understanding of reality itself. Because if something did crash out there, if it wasn't human, then the implications are enormous. It would mean we are not alone, that intelligence exists beyond our planet, that the universe is far more complex and far more crowded than we ever imagined. But if that were true, would we even be told? Or would the truth remain buried, hidden behind layers of secrecy, dismissed as myth, reduced to speculation. That's what makes Roswell different. It's not just a mystery of the past, it's a question that refuses to go away, a story that keeps evolving, a moment frozen in time, yet still alive in the present. Because somewhere between the official reports and the eyewitness accounts, between science and belief, between what we know and what we fear, there's a gap. And inside that gap is where the Roswell mystery lives. So the next time you look up at the night sky and you see nothing but darkness stretching endlessly above you, ask yourself one question. What if something is looking back? And what if we've already found proof but chose to call it something else? The Roswell incident wasn't just about what crashed in the desert. It was about what we were willing to believe and what we were told to forget. Some stories are meant to be forgotten. This isn't one of them. Comment and subscribe if you want the truth they didn't explain.